everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Reggie and today I'm super excited to be sharing with you the books that I just have to read by the end of 2018. These books are my priority. There are 9 books on this list and we're in October. There's 3 months left of the year, so if I read 3 books a month, I will read all of these before the end of the year. I think that's a super obtainable goal. However, most of these books are books for one reason or another I just have been putting off, which is silly. Let's start off with one I think might have been on the video like this that I did last year, and that is Night Film by Marisha Pestle. So if you don't know, this is an adult thriller that is told in multimedia components. It's also about a man who is a journalist, so a lot of buzzwords right there for me: adult thriller, journalist, multimedia. Continuing on with the synopsis, this is about a man who is a former journalist who basically gets a lead on this man's missing daughter. I don't exactly know what happened with the daughter's death or disappearance, but essentially the journalist decides to look into it deeper, thinks there's other things going on. The guy who's a father of the girl who went missing is a cult movie maker, director, writer, not really sure. He makes cult movies though in this world. And so we follow these 2 characters as we try to figure out what's going on. I don't know, but I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm here for it. Finally gonna read it. Hopefully this or next month. Next up, we have another thriller. This time it's a YA thriller. It's called Dangerous Girls, and this is by Abigail Haas. Every time we talk about this book on my channel, I get at least a few comments saying, this book is so good, this is one of my favorite books, you have to read this book, you'll love this book. So I need to read this book. You guys keep telling me that. I will love it. I need to read it. All I know about this book is it's about a girl who is, I think, on spring or summer break. Her friend is found dead, and she is the prime suspect, so it's her on trial for this. Next up, we have the only fantasy on this list, and it's Tess on the Road by Rachel Hartman. A lot of you, maybe most of you, probably have no idea what this book is. This is a sequel to the Seraphina duology. I would say sequel because it's set in the same world, but it follows a different character. It's a different story. I don't believe you have to have read Seraphina to read this book, so sequel is a bad word choice. But this is a book set in the world of Seraphina, which is, if you don't know, a world that I love. It's a duology about this girl who is a part of this world where dragons can shapeshift into humans. Not only can they shapeshift into humans, but in a lot of circumstances they have to because of laws and treaties that were put in place after a war between dragons and humans. I think the second book in the Seraphina duology, it's called Shadowscale. It's one of the best books. I love it so much, and I've heard that this book is just as good. I've heard wonderful things about this book from the few people who have read it. I love Rachel Hartman's writing style. I loved this world, so I'm definitely excited to read this book. Next up, we have a book called Radio Silence by Alice Osman. This is a book that gets nothing but rave and love on the internet, and I'm super excited to read it. I actually read my first Alice Osman book last month, and that was a surprise whirlwind of a book. I absolutely loved it, and even though I expected in a way to like it, I was still shocked by how much I really did enjoy it. And I think I'll like this one even more. All I know about this is it's about that time in between high school and college, making hard and life-changing decisions, and it follows a girl who makes art for a podcast that she really likes. That's all I really know about it, but I've heard literally nothing but good things about this book, so I'm super excited to read it. Next up, if you've been following me for a few months, you probably know exactly what book is next because it's been on so many TBRs that I've put out this year. I still haven't read it. And that's How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake. This is a book that came out last year, got lots of love, and I was like, I want to read that. That sounds great. And I honestly couldn't tell you what it's about anymore because I haven't read the synopsis in so long. But I still really want to read this. I know it follows a girl who is bi. It also has a side character who's biracial, which, if you don't know, is something that I really seek out in books because it's one of my main identifiers. It's also pretty and beautiful and purple. Purple's my favorite color, so that's a plus. But honestly, at this point, it's embarrassing that I haven't read this book, that if I don't read it by the end of the year, I should just unhaul it because I'm a failure. Next up, we have a book that is in the same vein as How to Make a Wish, but not as bad. I have put this in quite a few TBRs and haven't read it, but like I said, not as bad as How to Make a Wish. This is The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. This is a book that I think I would absolutely love. This is about a group of girls who are out of high school and create, I believe, a support group for victims of sexual assault. that sounds like the kind of thing I would like. And also, I now know that I like Amy Reed's writing because I read a nonfiction piece she had in a YA anthology. I haven't finished the anthology, but I read a piece she's written and I love her writing. So I'm definitely super into what she has to say and what this book is all about. Next up, we have Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. This is a book I picked up actually immediately after I watched the movie. So I watched the movie when it came out. I loved it so much, was so excited about this book that I literally left the theater, walked to the bookstore because it was within walking distance of the movie theater, and purchased this book so that I could have it and read it. And I haven't read it yet because what happened is I came home that day, read The Family Tree, read the first, like the prologue, and realized that this is the kind of book that is going to take my attention. It's going to take me like really like putting time and effort into it. I try to listen to the audiobook and that's just not going to work just because there's footnotes and parts that are in another language that are described in those footnotes and things like that, that if I read the book without those footnotes, it's gonna lose a lot of what makes this book special. And I don't want to lose what makes this book special and what makes this book like great for representation and for so many people. So the main reason I haven't read this, the main reason I've been putting it off is just because it's going to take so much time and effort on my part. And not that this book doesn't deserve it, it deserves it so wholeheartedly. I've just been so incredibly busy that I haven't been able to put that effort forth, but I hope that I can sit down and just get engrossed and love this book before the year is out. Next up on my list is a book that everyone's been talking about. So part of me is like, oh, maybe the hype is too much. Maybe I should avoid it. But honestly, I haven't even heard a single person say like this book was overrated. This was just overhyped. The hype train got me. Nothing like that. Everyone that's read this book has loved it, and almost everyone on BookTube I feel like has read it. And this is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. At this point, like everyone is like just reading all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist now, and I haven't even read the book that made people super interested in her work recently, at least on BookTube. So I definitely want to do that. This book came out last year, so it was on a lot of people's favorite books of 2017, and throughout the course of this year, it's continued to get nothing but buzz, praise, and love. And since y'all can't shut up about it, I just have to see what all the hype is about. The last one on this list is a book I've actually bought last year in December, and it is a Christmas themed book, and I didn't get to read it before Christmas, so I decided to save it all the way until this Christmas because I just wanted it to be the book I read at Christmas time. It was going to be my winter read this year, and it felt like too perfect to read that time of year to just read it in like January or February. So that's what I did. This is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This is kind of a retelling of A Christmas Carol, except it's not. It's set in that world with that concept. But basically what happens is there is a girl who is visited by the ghost of Christmas present, past, and future. She does not heed their warnings, and thus when she dies, I believe shortly after, she has to take the mantle of one of those ghosts. And so it's her figuring out this new role of her, I want to say life, but more like afterlife. It sounds super great, sounds super interesting, definitely those wintry vibes. I've read A Christmas Carol, so now it's time to read this kind of retelling, kind of continuation of the story, obviously not related to Dickens, but you know, in this world he created. So it's definitely something I'm going to read in December, but it's definitely something I'm going to read this year, because if I have to wait another year to read this, what even is the point of that? That is all for today's video, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you should give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing. I post new bookish videos on this channel every week. I'd also really like if you could comment down below. Let me know what's one book that you just have to read before the year is out. But like I said, that's it for today's video, so I'll see you in my next one. Bye!